Good morning and good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of Before Coffee. It is Good Tuesday News Day. Woohoo! We've got all the good news we were able to find this week, this Tuesday, and we're gonna give you a little bit of hope in these just dramatic, something's always happening, huh? Sometimes the things that are happening are good things. This is the first and only international game show Before Coffee, a father and daughter podcast where we look up our stories right before the show. We just got caffeine in our body. We're learning to speak and read live on stream. Let's roll that segue wheel, but first get into our headlines. Today on Good Tuesday News Day. Rare mummified cheetah found in Saudi cave sheds light on lost populations. And scientists make magnets without rare metals, and that's good news.
Good news from the Australian Open as 45-year-old Venus Williams sets a record, and an Indiana man gets a new pickup truck.
Hey! Some good news. Rental house prices are coming down in London. And a French man is awarded Sailor of the Year after winning treacherous around the world race.
Yes, and the UK, there's a prediction the UK is going to stop selling dirty diesel and by 2030. And coal power drops in China and India for the first time in 52 years.
In my culture news, I love that there's this big gay thing in the middle of Scotland. Ian McKellen and Graham Norton join Alan Cumming for Out in the Hills.
And it's National Cheese Lovers Day. And who doesn't love cheese except for those weird people? It's January 20th, 2026 on Before Coffee.
I mean, even vegans love coffee. They make vegan cheese. That's how much they love cheese. I'm sorry. They love cheese. Even vegans love cheese. They even have a recipe for vegan cheese. That's what I wanted to say. I'm glad I could figure that out there.
How do you become a vegan, actually? Because you're raised as a child on milk. That's not vegan, right? So...
Well, no, you don't. It's not.
Formulas.
It's like a religion. You just assume it later in life. You don't... Yeah, you don't... I mean, there are some weird parents out there who are trying to have vegan children and vegan pets and all that, and it's just like, okay. I'm not sure about that. Mostly because children can't give consent to be vegan, I guess. I feel like it's something you have to make for a choice for yourself, not for other people. But...
Right, you have to become one. Like, go to the vegan website and go, oh my God, I'm eating something that had a baby one time. And I'm like, oh my God, you're going to be fooled
I don't think I'm sure there's purists out there, but I don't think that's real. I think that's a meme, I guess, that there's purists out there yelling at people.
I've seen people that are vegans have no idea. People that are vegans have no idea what they're eating. And they know there's like animal protein in that. Oh my God. Yeah. Animal protein.
I mean, I'm personally not a vegan because I think insects are the best food source, but convincing people to switch to insects is easier said than done.
Yeah, the vegans in this world that are pure herbivores because they can't actually masticate food, like cows and deer, right? They're food.
But even deer and cows eat meat.
I mean, yeah.
They eat their own placenta.
No, they don't really. I mean,
that's meat.
Yeah, it's not really meat though. It's more like
it is 100% meat.
Just gets absorbed into their system. I'm just saying
it's
that's
definitely
a special
meat.
case. You want to just
And also, they're definitely
All right.
eating some bugs while they're eating grass too.
They can't eat meat because they can't masticate meat. That's why they can't digest it and masticate it. So it's impossible for them to eat meat. When you say meat, yeah, it's meat like protein, but it's not the physical flesh of a just cut up. You can't masticate it. You can't break it down, so you can't eat it. It's impossible. Digest it, chew it, or any of that. They got flat teeth. Their teeth are completely flat. They're for grinding and grass and grains and stuff.
All right, let's roll our segue, Will.
Anyway, it's either here or there.
Random tangent.
I said masticate. That's right. I said it several times. Yes, masticate.
Well, I hope you have some jokes about cheetah mummies and magnets, because that's going to be your segue. Tell me a joke.
A joke? A joke? That's easy. Okay.
Okay, well then...
That's easy.
Shouldn't be any problem, should it? The first story is coming out of AP News from New York by Aditi Ramakrishnan. Scientists have uncovered the mummified remains of cheetahs from caves in northern Saudi Arabia. The remains range from 130 years old to over 1,800 years old. Researchers excavated 7 mummies along with the bones of 54 other cheetahs from a site near the city of Awrar. Mummification prevents decay by preserving dead bodies. Egypt's mummies are the most well-known, but the process can also happen naturally in places like glacier ice, desert sands, and bog sludge. Don't forget those tar pits, too. The new large cat mummies have clouded eyes and shriveled limbs, resembling dried-out husks. There's even a picture here on the article, which is... their teeth are still in great condition, I have to say. And they still have their whiskers, too.
That's money.
It's something that I've never seen before, said Joan Madrel Malapera with the University of Florence in Italy, who was not involved in the discovery. Researchers aren't sure how exactly these new cats got mummified, but the cave's dry conditions and stable temperature could have played a role, according to the new study published last Thursday, which I believe was the 15th of January. Yes. In the journal Communications, Earth and Environment. So if you want to read the whole study about the cheetahs in the cave, Communications, Earth and Environment has the story, or the whole study. They also don't know why so many cheetahs were in the caves. It could have been a denning site where mothers birthed and raised their youngs. Scientists have uncovered the rare mummified remains of other felines, including saber-toothed cat cub in Russia. It's uncommon for large mammals to be preserved to this degree. Besides being in the right environment, the carcasses also have to avoid becoming a snack for hungry scavengers like birds and hyenas. To find such an intact evidence of cheetahs that lived long ago in this part of the world is entirely without precedent, study author Ahmed Boug with the National Center for Wildlife in Saudi Arabia said in an email. Cheetahs once roamed across most of Africa and parts of Asia, but now live in just 9% of their previous range, and have been spotted across the Arabian Peninsula for decades. That's likely due to habitat loss, unregulated hunting, and the lack of prey, among other factors. In a first for naturally mummified large cats, scientists were able to peek at the cheetah's genes and found that the remains were mostly similar to modern-day cheetahs from Asia and Northwest Africa. That information could help with future efforts to reintroduce the cats to places they no longer live. And that's the good news about this. They might be able to clone the cheetahs and just make them all in test tubes and go out there, cheetahs! Take on the Sahara. Well, not the Sahara anymore. It's the northern Africa and Asia. So that's what we need, more cheetahs. We do. Cheetahs are amazing. This should be an easy joke. I think you're muted.
Too bad puns. Too bad puns. That's right. I went to see my mummy and I found out she was just a cheetah. She was cheating all the time. Terrible puns. I came up with immediately. Cheetahs, I believe, big cats that do not growl. Right?
They chirp like birds.
they make little birdie noises to each other. They were there, except they're fast as hell. You have no chance with cheetahs, Jason. You have no chance. Just couldn't even run with me, right?
But cheetahs are actually really timid. They're probably, if you were to domesticate a wild cat, they would be the easiest one to domesticate because they're very timid creatures. They're not very aggressive. Like tigers are aggressive, leopards are very aggressive, lions are very aggressive, but
they can outrun a lion. They can outrun all these other things.
The thing with cheetahs is that they are very light. That's why they can run so fast. And because they're very light, they can't really take a hit. Like they take one bad attack from a water buffalo, it's over for them. They die. So they don't really have time to be picking fights like the rest of the large cats do.
I was watching a nature thing over the weekend about cheetahs, actually, and about the mother will because they don't, I don't know, they're endangered. They are endangered species, but the mother will just abandon her pups as soon as she gets pregnant. She just abandons them because I got more coming on the way. And apparently, the mother would just breed with any male. Like, let's get this thing going.
Only 9% of them, right?
Right.
There's not a lot anymore.
All right. So we have to diversify their somehow because whatever.
I guess the idea here is if we can clone these older cheetahs, we can bring some biodiversity back into the gene pool. I guess. That's
true, but just like leopards, cheetahs can't change their stripes
because they don't have any.
Bad metaphor. Right. Exactly. It's a true metaphor. It's also
a bonus joke.
A bonus for a cheetah and a leopard cannot change their stripes because they don't have stripes. Yeah.
Okay, let's go. Sorry, I just punched my mic. Let's go to my next story. My next good news, and this is about new magnets. Scientists have made new magnets, and it doesn't need rare earth materials. This is from André Stiru on Scientias, which is a Dutch science paper, newsletter even. Researchers have developed a new class of magnets that don't require rare earth metals. This could have major implications for all sorts of technological gadgets we use every day. Strong permanent magnets are everywhere, including in your smartphone. Yeah, I know, because I keep getting my nail clipper keeps getting attached to my phone because there's a magnet in it.
Right.
Electric bicycles, wind turbines, electric car engines, all of these use magnets. The problem, however, is that the most powerful magnets contain rare earth elements like neodymium. The term rare earth is somewhat misleading. They aren't necessarily rare, but their mining is concentrated in a few countries and is associated with environmental damage. Therefore, scientists have been searching for years for alternative ways to make magnets using elements that are widely available. Until now, this has proven particularly difficult. Researchers at Georgetown University in the United States believe they have now achieved a breakthrough. They combined 4 common metals, iron, cobalt, nickel, and manganese, and added the element boron. By choosing the right proportions, they created a material with a unique crystal structure normally found only in the most expensive materials. The key lies in what scientists call high entropy, which is what my muscles are doing right now after doing yoga. By mixing multiple metals in nearly equal amounts, a stable material with unique properties is created. It would be nice if they actually explained what high entropy means instead of just saying, it's called this. High entropy is specifically alloys that are formed by mixing equal or relatively large proportion of 5 or more elements, which is what we just explained, right? There was 4 and then boron. Prior to the synthesis of these substances, typically metal alloys comprised of 1 or 2 major components with smaller amounts of other elements. So, like they said, iron, nickel, Iron, nickel, manganese, and cobalt. And then they add some boron right at the end to create this high entropy alloy.
That's a boron.
The researchers tested dozens of different compositions to find the best mix. The result, magnets that retain their magnetization more than twice as strongly as previous versions with fewer metals. The best composition contained approximately 35% iron, so you can make this at home. 17% cobalt, the same amount of nickel, and 31% manganese, combined with boron. They're not telling you how much boron. Also, I don't think you can get boron as a citizen. It's very dangerous. I think it's boron. The one that's a gas, right? Oh, no, maybe you can just you can just buy boron in one of those, 4 milligrams of boron. Simulations predicted the magnetic strength could increase even further with further optimization. They're going to be changing the percentage of these elements by, like 3.3. We need 3.3 more. The new magnets could be suitable for applications requiring strong magnetization, but not extreme force. A good example is data storage, where ever smaller magnets are required to store increasing amounts of information. Other potential applications include sensors and spintronics, an emerging technology for computer chips. Spintronics? What is that? Man, they're giving me such information. Spintronics, also known as spin electronics, is the study of intrinsic spin of electrons and its associated magnetic moment, in addition to its fundamental electronic charge. So they are using static electricity. Let's go with that. They're using static electricity to spin stuff. Spintronics. For the most demanding applications, such as electric car engines, these magnets aren't yet powerful enough. But the research does open a new path. By tweaking the ratios of inexpensive metals, scientists can achieve properties previously only possible with expensive materials. So it's not impossible that powerful magnets for electric cars could be created this way in the future. Much work remains to be done before this technology can be used in the real world. The magnets are made as thin films, only 22 nanometers thick, which means you can't even see it. That's thinner than a human hair. Whether the results also apply to larger magnets remains to be seen. Furthermore, some compositions only worked well at extremely low temperatures. At room temperature, certain variations lost a significant portion of their magnetic force. This problem still needs to be resolved for practical applications, especially for cars which get hot. Finally, the films sometimes contain undesirable byproducts that affect performance. Further research will determine whether pure materials yield even better results. The nickel and the iron combined together create an alloy that we don't want, despite the fact that the technology isn't yet ready. This is also a promising avenue for achieving greater geostrategic independence. The production and processing of rare materials is currently highly concentrated in a handful of countries, particularly China. Oh no, one of the bad guys of the world. That was sarcasm. This makes Europe, among other countries, vulnerable to price fluctuations or trade conflicts. Therefore, alternatives based on common metals are strategically attractive. It's not yet clear when we'll see magnets in everyday products. For now, this is a fundamental research conducted on a very small scale. They've just said, hey, we can do it. It's possible. We need to scale it up, but it should be possible. Applications in niche electronics, such as certain memory technologies or sensors, are likely more likely to be within reach than their use in heavy-duty electric motors. So you probably won't notice an immediate effect in the short term. So that's your news about maybe someday not having to worry about price fluctuation and destroy the planet with rare earth metals. Hopefully we still have a planet by the time we discover how to make these magnets.
Yeah, and for all the stupid people out there who listen to Donald Trump, I just wanted to point out that idiot, he recently said it a few times, magnets don't work when they get wet, so that's my joke. So don't get those magnets wet. He thinks magnets don't work when they get wet. That's an actual grown human being leading our entire country. He thinks magnets don't work when they get wet. That's right. And people think he's smart. He also said that China has virtually no wind power. He said that to the press, the assembled press, and nobody challenged him on it. They just sat there like idiots. China leads the world in wind power, folks.
Yep.
According to Trump, they have no wind power. Yeah. So when you listen to that guy, just know you're getting anything but accurate information.
But the truth.
Anyway, that was my little joke there is about magnets, by the way. It's like, oh my God, I hope they don't get wet. Yeah, it's easy.
Magnets don't care about water.
If you don't know what a magneto is a spinning magnet, and it creates a alternating current electricity just by spinning. So if you can make a magneto as small as one atom, hell, you're generating power inside of a circuit. You don't even need an external power source.
Exactly. Magnets are amazing, and I mean, electromagnets are some of the strongest things you can do. And that's a lot how a lot of our electric speed trains work. They just put them on magnets, and then the positive and negative forces push you down the rail.
Well, yeah, they're electrified. So electrified power lines, and electrifying anything polarizes it. It shins negatives that way and positives that way. They both go directions, and they attract accordingly, so forth and so on. And a train, that's the thing. How does a train even leave the tracks if it's an electric train? That the electricity keeps you there, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Unless you hit a fly off like that, all right? You'd have to.
I mean, in the Netherlands, the electricity is on the top, right?
Yeah, they're all that way. Cable cars.
Not on the rails
themselves, The first in-city transportation was frickin' cable cars using electricity to pull them up the hills, because you could roll down the hill, but you could anyway, you brake manage it on the way down. That's about it, right? Anyway, there's your stupid joke. Time for a spin. Barely a joke, if that.
Sorry, I forgot to give you a sound thing.
Let's have a spin for the second segment of the show. I call this R1. Very clever. Your segment
Rolling the
called
Segway
A1.
wheel for
right.
Associate. Give me a story.
Okay. Yeah, you can basically daydream through both of these now, right? Yeah. This is from people.com. We're talking about Venus Williams. Serena gets all the 30 titles or something. Venus only won 7 Grand Slam titles, but she's set a new record. Venus Williams from people.com. Bailey Richards. Venus Williams sets a new record at Australian Open despite first round exit. Though she exited during the first round, Venus Williams broke an Australian Open record just by playing in the tournament in Melbourne. She hit the court on mark for the first day of the tournament on Sunday, January 18th. The 45-year-old athlete who received a wildcard entry to play became the oldest ever women's player in the main draw, according to Australian Open officials. Draw. Now, main draw is like you get a wild card, and there's actually playing tournaments. I imagine somebody maybe played their way in some way, but not. Despite her initial 4-0 lead in an over 24-year-old opponent, Olga Danilovich, Williams lost the following 6 games, leading to the first round first Australian Open appearance in 5 years. That's only one set, folks. Okay, so she lost the set easily. The 7-time Grand Slam winner was 17 when she first played her Australian Open in 1998. Bowed out to applause while the crowd's energy lifted her up. It was such a great game, such a great moment. The energy from the crowd was amazing. It lifted me up so much, Williams said, of going head-to-head with Danilovic. She played a great game. Also some luck there as well. That's just the sport. That's how it works sometimes. It was an amazing moment. Williams said her initial lead over the Serbian tennis pro felt good and was the biggest lead I've had since I've been back. Reflected on well, a lot of ways I'm having to relearn how to do things, if that makes any sense. I am really proud of my effort today because I am playing better with each match, getting to the places I want to get to. It's kind of weird, but it's super exciting to have played that well and get myself in a position to come very close, the tennis pro said. Danilovich, meanwhile, shared reverence for Williams. I told myself before the match, I really want to take this moment. These things do not happen every day. Playing against Venus, one thing I not take for granted, but such a pleasure playing against such a legend. So, Venus Williams at the age of 45, in her, 20 years of professional tennis?
Is that what it is?
Right.
I don't know.
That's the end of the story.
Okay. I mean, this is an easy associate because it's the Australian Open's happening, right? And we talked about Djokovic yesterday, who's breaking records. And a lot of these stars, right, in tennis have probably had the longest careers since the sport, right? Like, who has the longest tennis career? I feel like They've been playing tennis since
Venus
before
Williams
I was alive.
Venus Williams at 28 years is right now, so I would say that's pretty damn long. 28 years.
Yeah, but I'm saying what I'm trying to say is, I guess we've gone past whatever was, I don't know. People are living healthier, maybe something like that, and I feel like people are able to play longer and live longer and be at their top. Whatever they're doing, I have no idea. I'm sure there's somebody doing a study.
Typically, women tennis players in their early 20s. That's been the model, right? You see this all along in Wimbledon. You see 15-year-old prodigies come up to the top. They go right to the top, and as soon as whatever in their body develops in their 20s, they can't play tennis at that top level anymore. But not Venus. Not Venus. And men players who quit at the top, like Bjorn Borg famously. He just quit. Well, fucking, I'm done. Boris Becker just quit. Fucking, I'm done. Steffi Graf, I'm done. A lot of tennis players just call it quit. I made enough money. I'm gonna raise a family. This happens a lot.
Do you know what ATP means in tennis?
American team play or something like that. It's a team sport. They have teams. Actually, is a team sport.
I know.
Tennis. They play events all over the place. It's not like the World Cup or anything. Okay.
No.
All right. So let's do our second story.
Wait, first, I just wanted to say, according to this UltimateTennisStatistics.com, which I guess is only reporting on male tennis players, Roger Federer, I can never say his name because there's so many R's, has played for 14 years.
Federer.
So if Venus is at 28, I don't know why she's not on this list, right? It's only naming male tennis players. So I would just wanted to find like a list of like but I don't know what ATP mean. It just says first ATP, last ATP, but I don't know what ATP means, so I don't know what the actual statistic means. But
hey, you looked at the wrong site. Is what the problem is.
I don't know.
If you're not getting female tennis players, you're looking at.
Search engines are just crap these days. I looked up longest tennis career, and it kept on giving me the longest tennis match. And I'm like, I didn't say the word match anywhere in my search. The word match was not used. I said career. Yeah.
The longest professional tennis career is Venus Williams. I don't know how to keep re-emphasizing
in the history of tennis.
It's actually the longest.
Yeah.
She's the oldest player to play in a tournament of any kind, a major tournament, and she started when she's 17. If you can find somebody with a longer, you're welcome to it.
That's what I was saying. I just wanted to see a list, but I guess nobody's ever.
Hey,
nobody has a list.
There's a list. There's a list. You're just using the wrong search engine or using the wrong terms or something. I don't know, because there's no way there's not a list. Or look up the tennis. Pro reference page, for instance. It'll tell you every tennis player. They have pro reference for every sport. Next story. Cars. This is Indiana, and we're actually pickup truck. Indiana man's Chevy pickup truck that looked split in half because famous before a community rallied together. This is from Henry Hall of SuperCarBlondie.com. That's the actual name of the rest. Supercar Blondie. Weird. An Indiana man saw his Chevy pickup truck, which looked split in half, become famous, rallied together for him. Marcellus Mo Riles, driving his 1999 Chevrolet Silverado. That car's been on the road ever since Venus Williams has been playing tennis, right? Professionally, I mean, she probably picked up a racket at 5.
I'm sure there's people who played tennis since they were 8 or something, but that's not going to be on the records, is it?
Yeah, Mo's Chevrolet Silverado has been on the road since Venus Williams was a teenager. It had become a local sensation, however, and Riles said he had met a lot of people while driving around his battered truck, but the community decided to rally around for Riles and enable him to finally get a new truck that wasn't split in half. How the hell do you drive a truck that's split in half? Why Riles kept driving his old pickup truck? The fixer-upper had been pushed well beyond his limits, but Riley didn't seem to mind. We met a lot of good people driving that truck, he told the local WSBT news crew, taking pictures with people, taking pictures with me and the truck, and vice versa. He went on to add. And we laughed, people laugh, and I laugh with them. Within this community in South Bend, Indiana, home of Notre Dame University, Riles is known as a friendly local, is humble and hardworking. So after years with his 1999 Silverado, they wanted to give him something back to them. The community rallied around to gift the Indiana native a new truck. And on November 2025, Car Guys auto owner Colin Crowell started up a fundraiser. It aimed to get Riles a newer, safer truck so he could finally say goodbye to his old Silverado. Incredibly, residents of South Bend were able to raise the money in just a few weeks. After 4 weeks, the owners raised $22,000 for Riles. This was more than enough to buy him a 7-year-old truck because, Detroit doesn't want to give anything away. They want to just totally screw you on vehicles. So $22,000 only buys you a 7-year-old truck. That's so disappointing, right? That is so sad.
Yeah.
He did get a new truck.
Your slightly used Mercedes was what, 24 or something?
Yeah, I only paid 20 for it, so that's it. Less than what this guy paid for
That's an import, right? That's an import car.
I bought a certified Mercedes, certified pre-owned Mercedes with 30,000 miles on it. It's a little bit different than a 7-year-old pickup truck who probably has 100,000 miles. So it's a little bit different. I don't even know what the miles are on it. I don't know. I just know the community got together and gave him a damn truck. It was a remarkable actual South Bend resident and the dealerships involved. However, the old truck will not be set for scrap. Riles will hold on to use it for community events such as a memento. He's not even getting rid of his truck. He's not even going to scrap the old piece of crap. And that rhymes. And here's a picture of it. Maybe I'll do a video on it. I don't know. Maybe there's a video of this thing. It's like cops not pulling this guy over constantly for, hey, you could just bend that fender back in place. It wouldn't be that much trouble, would it?
So what if the transmission is falling out? That gives a character.
His left rear fender, instead of going straight back, his left rear fender showing right back goes like that, up in the air, like it's
not going to defend you from anything.
It's got a tail fin on the left side. The other side, yeah. Well, it's the rear tail light is pointing straight up in the air. So if he hits his brakes, people in the sky can see it. Hey, look, that guy in the ground's hitting his brakes. Anyway, there's your story. Let's have us an association with that.
Well, I guess I already did my association, which is, inflation's a bitch, I guess. But it's really nice that people were able to crowdfund for this new truck because he's too stupid to get one himself. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's time for electric cars, everybody. These old rust buckets are just not worth keeping. And people are sentimental attachment to these rust buckets. My favorite statistic is every time somebody talks about an electric car starting on fire, I have to look up the statistics about, those batteries are dangerous. They're going to set your car. You get an electric car, you better not park it in the garage. And then you look up the statistics for internal combustion engines starting on fire, and it's way more common. It's way more common in electrical fires and electric cars. Way more common. It's like ridiculously, like 17-fold more common. It's like, what? Oh, you're worried about electric cars starting on fire, but meanwhile, something like 30 internal combustion cars start on fire every single day in the United States. So yeah, okay. There's tiny explosions of gasoline going on in that engine, right? And anything goes wrong, it's a fire. I don't know if anybody understands those explosions that are constantly happening inside your engine. Anyway, there's my stories. I'm going to stop talking now. Go spin those magnets.
Truck. Happy trucking.
Happy truck day. Happy Tuesday truck day.
Okay, well, you're telling me puns already, but now you actually have to tell me puns because you've got bad pun.
Oh, no. Same spin.
Well, it was tell a joke, but you decided to only tell puns, so that's not that's not my fault.
Puns are the easiest. They're the easiest jokes, man. They're just, especially with mummies and cheetahs.
It was not fair, and not fair at all.
Yeah.
Okay. Our next story is coming out of London. Good news. Housing prices are going down, at least since last year. This is from James Moore on The Independent. Parents, did you think you'd see an end to K-pop blasting out of Bluetooth speakers, monosyllabic communication, and closed shoe bags cluttering up the hallway? Stairs, lounge, or whatever else can be slung? Best reassess that, because the kids are staying put. Hamptons, the estate agent, cites that a reason for the first fall in its rental index since began in 2011. Newly agreed rents dipped by 0.7% across Britain in 2025, with 5 of its 11 regions recording declines, compared with none at all at the end of 2024. London, where the property market has been sluggish after years in which the outer limits of affordability have been tested and then tested again, recorded the biggest fall. The 2.7% reduction is equivalent to £63 a month less on rent, enough to make decent dent in a food bill. Yeah, I can buy more jammy Dodgers or something instead. I don't know. You probably shouldn't be spending your extra money on jammy Dodgers, or maybe you should. It was joined by the Southeast at negative 1%, which means that they went up in price. The East Midlands, or maybe down? Negative 1? East Midlands at negative 0.2%. Yorkshire at the Humber at negative 1.4%, and Wales at negative 0.8%. The data chimes with other surveys. Zoopla found a 2.2% rise for the year to December, but that was the smallest increase in 4 years. Oh, how large has it been increasing since? The property website also said demand for rental homes fell by a fifth. This trend isn't solely driven by the kids staying home. Improved mortgage deals and rising incomes have encouraged more first-time buyers to take the plunge. If you can, it is better and cheaper to buy than to rent if somebody will let you buy their house. That's the other problem, right? It's like, oh, this is only for rent. I'm not selling the house. Okay. Well, I guess I'll go find another place. You pay your own mortgage costs, whereas renting means covering the landlord's mortgage, their rising taxes, ancillary costs, and a profit margin. Yeah, I still want to make money off of this land. The University of Oxford's Migration Observatory also points out that net migration fell sharply in 25 and 24. Immigrants inevitably rent when they first arrive, so that decline has an effect on demand for rental properties. Still, the finding that a rising number of adult offspring are staying at home is hardly surprising, especially if you are an adult offspring living at home. You're already aware of it. Given the scales of increases in accommodation costs in the recent years, particularly in the former hotspots such as London and the Southeast, where rents remain so high that saving for a deposit to rent is almost impossible even after this year's decline. Yeah, we're gonna need $20,000 on a down payment. $20,000? I might as well just go buy a house. If parents are willing, staying put makes sense, especially if it helps young adults build the nest egg required to buy a property. Or they can just live in the house they're already living in, and then when you kick the bucket, they'll have a house. I think that's unfortunately what a lot of millennials are relying on. If parents are willing, there will also be those who grumble that this adds to the setting of a spoiled TikTok generation. I don't think TikTok has anything to do with it. Incapable of rising to the challenges of adult life. TikTok is causing the rent prices to go up, and housing, nobody's selling houses, right? Nobody wants to sell a house on lease or, mortgage the house. They want rent because they can make more money from renters.
Get off my lawn!
It's TikTok's fault!
You kids get off my lawn! Get off my lawn!
Angry old man yells at cloud. But the arrangement is commonplace in parts of the world where adulthood hits like a mallet and goes hand in hand with hard labor people in the developed world would bulk out regardless of a generation. In theory, it also helps that those who don't have this option, they benefit from cheaper rents. Unfortunately for them, those lower rents are unlikely to last. Hamptons also found a fallen number of properties being made available to rent. Falling yields and rising costs will encourage landlords to walk away, and the Renters' Right Act could exacerbate the trend. Oh, right, we talked about that. We talked about how they passed the Renters' Right at the end of the year, right? That said, landlords cannot evict people, right? They can't evict people for no reason. They have to prove why they're evicting people for a good reason. And also, I think there was something about controlling rent costs. You can't make your rent cost higher than a certain amount because you're just what is the word I want to say? People need shelter, right? This is one of the 3 basic needs of living. So when there's desperate people that need a place to live and you start raising their rent, it's just predatory. Just predatory. Successive governments argued that tenants would benefit from larger, more professional landlords in it for the long haul. They used that argument to justify higher taxes, but chasing out smaller hobbyists, those who might use a rental flat or 2 to save for a pension, only reduces the number of available properties because you churn a 10,000 unit condo into a money-making scheme, and they pump and dump the units, right? They go, oh, we're gonna raise the rent to, it's gonna be 500, and then when everyone wants to live here, we're gonna raise the rent to 1,000. Half the people are gonna leave, and we can get new tenants that can afford that. That's what they've been doing for, I don't know, probably since before 2008, since the 1800s, have probably been doing this shit, right? Professional landlords don't care about you. They don't care about that you have to have a house. They don't care that you have a family. They want to raise their rent on you so they can make more money off of you, and that's it. Okay.
They're typically aristocrats in England. In England, they're typically aristocrats and never worked a day in their life. They inherited this property, so they don't have to work. So who cares if they make money? Go get a job. Go work at a freaking coffee shop like other people got to do.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm so tired of rich people acting like they're entitled to everything just because they inherited it. Inheritance tax needs to be doubled.
Or that they're heroes, right? I'm a hero because I'm providing housing. You didn't build the houses. No, you just got them somewhere. Asshole.
England doesn't have a functioning government. They just got a bunch of rich people telling everybody what to do. In spite of what they tell you. It's the House of Lords is the thing. Like, they're born into that. You're born into the House of Lords. Like, you're born, you're in the House of Lords. You gotta not want to be in the House of Lords to not get there. You know, it's just, that's where you are. You're slotted for that. You're still sucking a mommy's nipple. You're in the House of Lords someday just because of that. It's a fucked up system. Aristocrats suck. Sorry, go ahead.
So, where were we? So, because the previous government focused on professional landlords, that reduced the number of properties even available. In the long-term result was higher prices. As the supply of rental properties falls, those remaining will have the power to pass on extra costs. I'm going to sell 10 units for $500 and then 5 units for 1,000, and then there's no more units left. I can raise the rent to 2,000 now because this is the last unit I have, so I can just keep raising the price until I get some rich bastard to buy it. The ultimate losers are tenants that in turn further incentivize staying at home if you can. The obvious solution is that the same one that would ease shortages and inflated prices is the buy to own market. Oh no, but if they own the house, I can't charge them rent anymore. And to address that desperate shortage of social rents, build more homes. What a concept. Who's writing this article again? James. James doesn't want to sound like a scratched piece of vinyl on the subject, but it's true. The construction sector has endured a 12-month decline, which means nobody's building houses, a problem that needs to be addressed as a matter of urgency. In the meantime, parents will have to get used to their adult children sticking around, potentially for years. For some, that might just be learning to love K-pop. I'm not sure why he hated on K-pop, but there's your story about some good news, because there's a downturn.
Right. Yeah, because you can't just keep forever. Someday, nobody can afford the rents. What the hell are you going to do? Everybody's homeless, and everybody's in an empty building. Half the population is an empty building. The other half is homeless. It just makes no sense. That's the direction we're going. And don't forget all that don't forget all that commercial real estate that's empty all over the world that people could be living in. My pun is, well, it looks like these renters are getting a new lease on life.
Oh.
No groans, huh? No groans. I was expecting a groan. All right, rim shot. There you go. All right.
Oh my God! Woohoo! Woohoo!
Thank you. Another easy
Another
pun.
story, which is a little
it.
shorter.
Okay.
Not that much shorter, but a little shorter. And it's about a man from France who has been fighting cancer and has been able to win Sailor of the Year. It was technically of last year, 2025. Ooh. This is on Good News Network by Nathan Frederick. After all he'd been through, battling 3-story waves didn't seem that daunting. French sailor Charlie Dalin started feeling an intense abdominal pain in 2023 and was diagnosed with a 6-inch tumor, that's like as big as my face, in his small intestines, and it was cancerous. He'd been planning to race in the Vendée Globe, a famously dangerous 24,000-mile race to circumnavigate the world through boundary waters off the southern Africa, Australia, and Antarctica, some of the most treacherous environments on Earth. Held every 4 years, the race is nicknamed the Everest of the Seas, and only a fraction of the participants finish. One entrant disappeared completely. Surely, Dalin would have to withdraw, right? He can do this race with cancer, could he? One highly regarded doctor told Dalin he could probably still compete if he maintained a strict regimen of daily immunotherapy pills. I decided to handle it the way I would when I have a problem on board, Dalin said in an interview with the Washington Post. I don't talk about it when the problem arises. I talk about it when it's repaired. He started exercising and entered a few events as a tune-up for a Vendée Globe. He fought fatigue across the Atlantic in a pair of races between New York City and France. He persevered through a pain and believed he could still enter the Vendée Globe in November 24. The only thing left to do was to go for it. Sailors must compete solo, non-stop and without assistance for the duration of the race. Often there are only about 40 competitors willing to brave the frigid temperatures and towering waves in pursuit of glory. Dalin was one of them. He left France and navigated around the treacherous Cape of Good Hope at the southern tip of Africa, keeping pace with the competition while staying consistent with his daily medicines. But near the southern coast of Australia, Dalin faced a critical decision. A massive storm had developed, forcing him to choose a safer, slower route north or a faster and potentially perilous route south. He consistently stared down danger and cancer over the last year, so naturally, Dalin went south. His boat was bombarded by ferocious swells, gale force winds over the next several days, but he persevered. And when the sea calmed, he was in the lead, on a record-breaking pace. Near Antarctica, he lost the lead. Near Brazil, he regained it. After more than 2 months at sea, Dalin became the first Vendée Globe champion, crossing the finish line in January 2025 with a time of 64 days, 19 hours, and a new race record. I think they mean January 2026, right? Oh no, maybe he started in 2024, finished in 2025, and that's why he was named the Sailor of the Year. His tumor had grown during the race, but he soon underwent surgery to have it removed. As a cherry on top, he was named the 2024 Rolex World Sailor of the Year in November and won the 2025 Magnus Olsen Prize in December, which is awarded to sailors who embody excellence, sportsmanship, and innovation. Dalin doesn't know what the future holds, but he's working hard to steer his life and his health back to normal. And he's keenly aware that sometimes life's sweetest victories lie just beyond the rough seas and the dark skies. Wow, isn't that a great poetic ending to a positive story about not giving up, even if you have a giant tumor in your intestine? I switched you at the perfect time.
All right, is that it? You ready for my pun?
That's it. See, it was a little shorter than the other one, huh?
Okay, get your rim shot ready for this one. All that time at sea without docking his boat, he was literally peerless.
Oh, dear.
There you go.
I have nothing to
Fun
add.
of the year
Only my
so far,
laughter.
yes, me.
Roller
Fun of the year, I'm
segue. I
sorry.
somehow
Hey,
hurt my hand and
um,
it's bleeding, and I don't remember when I did that. Mixed.
Just
Wait,
fighting off
no.
that cheat.
Metaphor and simile. Or simile, I should say.
Metaphor. Okay. Well, we got metaphors about energy, because we're going to talk about clean energy in 2 stories. We're going to talk about the short story first, I suppose. UK petrol stations will stop selling diesel in 2030 due to lack of demand. A think tank will be saying nobody's buying this shit, so why should we sell it? This is from MSN. Bear with me, they did not offer meeting pains. I'm going to skip the pictures and the ads and hope pop-up ads by now. I'm not sure about that. Petrol stations, MSN is written by Rob Hull. Petrol stations in London will stop selling diesel to drivers within the next 4 years due to a lack of demand for the fuel in the capital as electric cars... I'm sorry. Electric cars become more popular. As electric cars become more popular, think tank claims. I ran into a pop-up ad there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, new automotive estimates that as many as 8,400 filling stations across the UK as well as London will stop selling diesel by 2035 as motorists and car makers steer away from the fuel. Last year, just 103,906 new diesel passenger cars were sold in Britain, which accounted for just 1 in 20 registrations in 2025. That still seems like a lot. Just a decade ago, 1.28 million, which is, I don't know, tenfold more than that even. Diesel models entered the road in the calendar year, making up almost half, or 49% of all vehicles purchased in the UK in 2015. Only 10 years ago, that has really dropped. The report said a dramatic decline in use of diesel cars in London will in 2030 reach a tipping point where stocking the fuel supply won't be worthwhile for retailers located in the capital. Yeah, you're downtown London, and you're basically just selling fuel to commuters anyway, and not that many diesel cars on the road, so what's the point? Let's have a big, huge fuel tank for that. Nah, we can store something else in there, like molasses or something, right? The demise of diesel comes in the wake of emissions cheating scandal 10 years ago. We remember that. If you don't remember it, Volkswagen admitted installing defeat devices into its cars to lower pollutants in test conditions. In other words, we were faking our emissions tests at Volkswagen to say that our diesel cars burn clean, when it was a complete lie. Pressure from the climate groups and governments to oust dirty diesel has seen automakers roll back their sales instead of focusing on development of cleaner electric vehicles to meet targets and uphold their green regulations. Electric cars just seems like such a cleaner. Electric car, there was an electric car made over 115 years ago that's still working. You can't say that about a lot of internal combustion cars. You can, but they have to have constant maintenance and constant upgrades. Yeah, of course,
a lot of moving parts.
Constant maintenance and upgrades, right? Electric cars aren't sure. The people just want to keep denying it. They're probably on the payroll of the oil companies because they're like, the oil companies were poor. Take dog. You know, the oil companies have all diversified into wind power anyway and solar power, so they should have a soft landing, and they should stop trying to kill our planet. In comparison, let's do this again. Let's talk about this comparison here. According to the latest motor park data for 2024, published by the Society of Motor Manufacturers and Traders, just under 32% of all vehicles in the road are powered by diesel. This represents some 11 motors. In comparison, 3 in 5 vehicles were 21 million vehicles. Let's do this again. In comparison, 3 in 5 run on petrol. There you go, which is 21 million vehicles. Hybrids, both self-charging and plug-in, make up the remaining 6% of vehicles on the road. The Department of Energy Security and Net Zero says there are 2.8 million fewer diesel vehicles on UK roads in 2024 compared to 2019. Over that 5-year period, the number of registered diesel cars fell by 3.7 million, though offset by a 0.9 million increase in diesel vans and trucks, which remain reliant on the fuel. But new automotive says that by 2035, there will only be around 250,000 diesel cars being used by Britons. And the capital is predicted to be the UK's first city with no diesel cars at all. And we're going to scroll past some pictures. And the expansion of the ultra-low emission zone in 2023 means that using a diesel car registered before 2015 anywhere in the capital incurs a £12.5 daily fee, not dollars, pounds. It's daily. If you're driving yourself a diesel car registered before 2015 anywhere in London, that's fine, a daily fine. Like, you pay that fine and get rid of your car. I guess they're talking about, or move your car or whatever. Just keep paying fines, I guess. It added nationwide. It's clear that diesel fuel sales are
so you have to
falling,
keep
and be driven by the reduction in carbon. Again, London, you can get around in a train. And I don't understand owning a car in a big city when you can get around by train anyway. It's just a hassle, right?
Yeah.
You got to buy insurance. You got to buy fuel. Just buy it. It's just like, okay, they've made it easy for you to travel. Buying a car is luxury. I get you want to go in the country or whatever, but I mean, most of the time it's just sitting there parked. Think about that. Even people that use their car every day, most of the time it isn't going anywhere. The government plans to ban the sale of new petrol and diesel cars from 2030, but there is no proposal law the use of existing vehicles. Figures of Society of Motor Manufacturers and Traders show that just 5.1% of new cars bought last year were diesels. The market share of petrol and pure battery electric new cars were 46.4% and 23.4% respectively. The new automotive and chief executives Ben Nem said the few people who drive diesel cars at filling stations will stop stocking fuel as diesel does not keep well. If fuel sits in tanks without selling at pace, it degrades. Diesel availability option is to avoid the headache and go electric. Delvin Lane, chief executive for the supercharged supplier Instavolt, says some filling stations were already starting offering high-powered e-charging to deliver journeys which are smoother, cleaner, and more convenient. Here's his story. I don't want to keep scrolling all day. I don't know how that story ends, but long story short, they're cleaning up there in London just from the fact that, Volkswagen, which is a very popular model in London, German cars are everywhere in London, and England for that, right? Yeah. England is all German cars. We learned that. There's BMWs, Mercedes, Audis, Volkswagen.
Swedish
but
cars
again,
there
Volkswagen
too,
had that big
maybe.
diesel. Volkswagen lying about their emissions tests really hurt their market share in London. So let's have this metaphor simile. Diesel burning car.
I mean, yeah, it's very nice that they finally figured out, hey, we should probably, fix that. Because, those engines warring with gritty breath chokes nature with a sigh. There you go. Here's your metaphor for dirty diesel.
One more story. This is from Carbon Brief, talking about clean energy again. Carbonbrief.org. Lori Myliverta. A lot of L's in that name. Coal power drops in China and India for the first time in 52 years after clean energy records. Of course, Stinky the Clown claiming that China doesn't have wind power, even though China has more wind power than anyone. Coal power generation fell both in China and India in 2025, the first simultaneous drop in half a century after each nation added record amounts of clean energy. The new analysis for Carbon Brief shows the electricity generated from coal in India fell by 3% year on year, and China by 1.6%. China has a lot more way to go, I would think, right? They might have because they got more land mass, I would think, and so they have more coal. The last time both countries registered a drop in coal power output was 1973. The fall in 2025 is a sign of things to come, as both countries added a record amount of new clean power generation last year, which is more than sufficient to meet rising demand. Countries that now have the preconditions in place for peaking coal-fired power, and China is able to sustain clean energy growth and to meet its renewable energy. These shifts have international implications that sectors of these two countries drove 93% of the rise in global carbon monoxide from 2050. Many challenges remain. The decline in their coal power output marks a historic moment, which could help lead to a peak in global emissions. The peak may have already happened, we hope. Anyway, the new analysis shows coal fell by 1.6 in China and 3.0 from India, as non-fossil energies grew quickly. Non-fossil energy sources grew quickly enough for both countries to. This is illustrated in the figure below, and there are a lot of bars on it. Under that is another one. One's from India, one's from China, and it shows growth in coal-fired power generation by year in percentages, and it shows the first time we're in the red since the 70s. Both of them are in the red. Now there's
the 70s. In my lifetime.
Yeah.
Longer than my lifetime, and your lifetime, basically.
That's 50 years ago. Growth in coal-fired power generation in China and India by year. That's the chart. Anyway, I'm not going to read that. China achieved this feat even as electricity demand growth remained rapid at 5% year on year. In India, the drop in coal was due to a record clean energy growth combined with slower demand growth, resulting from mild weather and longer-term slowdown. The simultaneous drop for coal power in both countries in 2025 is the first since 1973. First for both since, yeah, right? Like I said, there has been times when they both individually dropped, but they both dropped this year, which is big for the planet, as both countries
because they're the two most populated countries.
Right. If you say let's say there's 7 billion people in the world, right? 3 billion live in these two countries.
Yeah,
like,
that's
okay,
3 billion
that's
people who may or may not be adding more carbon dioxide to the planet.
That's a big damn deal. There might be more, there might be less, but you get the point. There's a lot of damn people. China's recent clean energy generation growth is sustained. It's already sufficient to secure a peak in coal power. Similarly, India's clean energy targets, if they're met, will enable a peak in coal before 2030, even if electricity demand growth accelerates again. In 2025, China will likely have added more than 300 gigawatts, that is 9 zeros, of solar and 100 gigawatts. That's actually at 11 zeros. 100 watts is also. Anyway, 300 gigawatts of solar and 100 gigawatts of wind power clear new records for China and therefore any country ever. Because China, again, is getting around. Making electric cars, they're making solar power in power plants, they're making wind power. They got non-driving trucks, no driver trucks. It's like, yeah, that's dangerous. I don't know. I think humans are more dangerous. Humans are freaking scary. Think about that. There's a lot of human-generated accidents, and it's far more than the non-driver accidents. So human error is a big cause of all accidents. Think of all the idiots that get on the road when it's snowing and go, I can go through the snow. I've driven the snow before, and they end up causing a 90-car pileup, which happened the other day.
And nobody likes 90-car pileups. Power
generation. Well, it was in Michigan during a snowstorm. It was more than 90. It was a couple hundred, I think. Power generation from solar and wind increased by 450 terawatts in the first 11 months of the year. Power delivering another 35 terawatts. This put the growth of non-generation, including hydropower, squarely above the 460 terawatt increase in demand. So you had an increase in demand, but you barely meet it by 485 to 460. Yeah, that's a lot of terawatts. It is a lot of power to have in spare above the demand. So if you got it in reserves and you can store it in batteries, good for you. Again, if you've got an electric car, you're almost self-sufficient. You can even run a lot of stuff in your house off your car. Just charge your car during the non-peak hours. You had that thing, and then power a lot of your shit in your house off the car. I would do that, man. Screw the electric company. Coal use outside the power sector is falling too. Get a spare battery even, right? Get yourself a spare battery. Why limit yourself to the charging stations, if you got to go on a car trip right away and your car's sitting there, oh my God, my battery's at 3%, and you're sitting there waiting, have a fully charged battery ready for your car. Coal use outside the power sector is falling too. We just talked about that, mostly driven by falling output of steel, cement, and other construction materials, the largest coal-consuming sectors after power. In India's case, the fall in coal-fired power in 2025 was a result of accelerated clean energy growth. Faster clean energy growth contributed 44% of the reduction in coal and gas compared to the trend in 19 to 24, while 36% contributed by milder weather and 20% by slower underlying demand growth, people using less power. Interestingly, this is the first time that clean energy growth has played a significant role in drawing down India's coal-fired power generation, as shown in a couple of graphs below that you can't see. And we'll get down to the power generation in these two countries drove more than 90% of the increase in global CO2 emissions from all sources between 2015 and 2024. That's how significant it is. I'm going to repeat this. Power generation in these two countries drove more than 90% of the increase in global CO2 emissions for the 10 years 15 to 24, with 78% from China, of course the rest from India, right? 16% of India, 16% of India, making their power sectors the key peaking global emissions. These are the guys that really needed to cut back. You say the United States is trailing now, but China was so far behind that here we are. They were playing catch up. Now we're going to be playing catch up on China. There's your story. Well, let's have another paragraph. Hold on a second. China's coal-fired generation until November 2025 is calculated for monthly data with the capacity of utilization of coal-fired plants from China's Energy Council accessed through the Wind Financial Terminal. Anyway, this is how they gather the data. You don't want to hear all that crap. They're just talking about their methodology, the rest of the article. So
the methodology behind how they figured out that they had less coal, basically, just to prove that they're just not making shit up.
Right, yeah, that. Where's my phone? That's your story as a metaphor.
China and India dropping coal power is like two titans shedding heavy armor to embrace the freedom of the wind. It's like you're talking about, right? The freedom of a battery. The freedom of not doing maintenance. The freedom of not destroying the planet. The freedom, you know, it's just... Who would have thought?
Yeah, and... Yep, and still can't get over the fact that this person in charge of our country bald-faced lies about China wind power, and half the population just accepts it as a fact, and the news media doesn't even strike back on it. They just accept it.
He said this
end. Well, it must be true. Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, he's lying again. Yeah. Okay.
The guy who totally has any sort of education in any of this. I don't even think he has an education. I wouldn't be surprised if we find out he's never graduated anything.
Oh no, he took it. Somebody took his SATs. That's a fact.
Yeah.
So he got into college. He couldn't pass any classes in, and he got a lot.
When you have money, you can just pay everyone to do everything for you. Our next segue is tell a joke.
The weakest person in the history of the world.
Would you like to re-roll?
Wow, this is a joke again?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's have a re-roll. Let's re-roll. I could probably come up with a joke.
Also run an ad while we do this because we've gone so long. We're having another ad. I gotta tell a joke again. See, I knew it. It's just gonna keep trolling me. I'll just keep rolling until we get something good right.
Take that off the wheel. You just gotta take things off the wheel, I guess. I don't know.
We'll do alliteration headlines. There we go. Goodness.
All right.
All right. This is going to be my culture news about a new gay festival starting in Scotland. So if you want to celebrate being queer, Scotland's the place to go. This is on, where's my story? On The Guardian. Written by, come on, load that page. Suddenly it didn't load the page. Written by Mark Fisher. New LGBTQ festival, including McKellen in a fiery monologue and Norton in a conversation, as well as a queer Sellied and a kilted yoga. Hey, I approve of all forms of yoga, even kilted yoga. Sir Ian McKellen is on stage blowing up a red balloon. For a man of 86, he has impressive lung capacity. He lets it go and watches it take a satisfyingly theatrical trajectory, rising to a height, then plummeting. Free the spirit, he says in character as Ed, an elderly gay man searching for release. There are a lot of spirit freeing over the weekend at the Pillockary Festival Theatre. In a bold pre-season move by new artistic director Alan Cumming, the UK's most idyllic venue launched its first LGBTQ plus festival in an atmosphere of exuberance. Programmed by Lewis Hetherington, Out in the Hills was a 3-day compendium of talks, scratch performances, and workshops that turned the sedate theater into a buzzy social hive. Fisher arrived as the audience for the Koinek McLeod, aka the Hebridean Baker, was spilling out. A large and colorful group were posing for a picture in the foyer, while queues squeezed past for the bar. I almost said queers. Queers squeezed past for the bar. Many were on a high after the previous night's Queer as Folk, led by Malin Lewis Trio. Others were anticipating Sunday's afternoon's conversation between trans playwright Jo Clifford and her daughter Catriona Innes. Fisher failed to find anyone who had done Fennell Wilson's kilted yoga, but it was a thing that did happen. McKellen was there for a rehearsed reading of Equinox, a new monologue by Laurie Slade, the playwright drawing on his professional skills as a psychotherapist to mix in reflections of Freud and the Oedipus complex. Also, welcome back from the ad break. Sorry that lasted so long. Written in a tone of a spiky regret, it was about Ed's abandonment of his family and attraction to a domineering younger man. Under the direction of Sean Matthias, McKellen grabbed the mic from the table in front of him and held it close. The editor spelt out the explosives of an irascible man struggling to find the right words at the bitter end of his life. "Be slow to judgment," Ed pleaded as he recalled an estranged daughter, a neglected wife, and that desperate patient he failed to help. The relationship with the midnight man he picked up in a gay bar seemed no less than humiliating. McKellen got a second round of applause simply for sitting in the audience of the next event, a suitably frothy conversation between Alan Cumming and Graham Norton about the TV host career. I need to find footage of that. With Cumming sporting the legend A for Von Pish on his black shirt and wearing a pair of ankle boots he got from the set of The Traitors US, the tone was frivolous and funny, and even as he gently edged into the questions about homophobia, representation, and rights. "I love that there's this big gay thing in the middle of Scotland," said Norton, delighted to be part of such a happy event. Sporting a zebra-striped fleece he picked up in New York, he fielded audience questions about difficult guests, awkward TV moments, and of course, the website just crashed, so I can't finish that sentence. Okay, let's go back. Literally, my script, literally just, oh snap, something went wrong and it crashed. The article. Where was I? Graham Norton, yes. About awkward TV moments and, of course, the zebra-striped fleece he picked up in New York. He spoke with his characteristic combination of wit, gossip, and genuine affection for his celebrity guests, and was applauded as enthusiastically for his condemnation of conversion therapy as he was for his joke about Cher and Tom Cruise. So, I guess, plan your next November for another gay weekend in Scotland for the next festival. What was it called again? Out in the Hills, which I'm sure they're probably already selling tickets for it, right? Might as well start selling tickets now and celebrate being gay and queer and not giving a shit, honestly, and how you can be both a terrible person and a good person, and that doesn't Your sexual orientation doesn't equate your morality. And that's my story. My culture good story. Why is that mark still there on the screen? Are you muted? I think you're muted. I can't hear you if you're speaking to me. Awkwardly quiet.
Yeah, I was muted. Yes, I was muted. I was looking for another word that starts with an H. I guess
Used C.
Or hullabaloo. Okay, I got it. All right, I got it. Highland homo. Well, you're gonna love this one. Highland homo hetero hybrids heroically hold hullabaloo. There you go. Or holiday.
What a hullabaloo.
That's my 3 H's. The new name for queer is homo hetero hybrid.
Homo hetero hybrid.
Oh my god!
You remind me of this
had to go
this
down that.
comment I saw on social media where somebody said like something about use the word homo in a sentence when they're talking about homosexuals, and then somebody just replied, "You did not use the word homo in 2026." And I was like, this person's probably European
Yeah,
because
means
homo
women.
is not an insult to Europeans.
Yeah.
It just means homosexual, which is the
Homo.
scientific term for what you are. But this person was like, you did not insult homosexuals.
Homo means same. It means no difference. Like you're
And sexual means
homogenous-
sexuality. And there you go.
homogenous
It's
society.
Roman or Latin.
like homogeny, hegemony,
Yeah.
homogeny and hegemony. They're kind of the same thing, right? All right. So I guess we can do another story, or would this
Nope,
stay
that's
with
it.
you,
I
right?
never do I rarely do double culture stories. Let's roll the segue.
Right, you're out of breath by this time. All right, I did send you a video, so
Yeah,
you can
mostly I'm
hopefully
hungry,
vote that,
but
since
yeah.
we're gonna commemorate.
I'll check out the
world's
video
greatest.
and I'll give you another roll. Okay, the wheel is being a jerk today.
The world's most democratic sport, which is basketball. Well, it's soccer. No, I'm saying basketball is easier to play. You don't even need a frickin' field. Like you do
Okay,
with
it
soccer,
literally
right?
landed on the same spot twice in a row. I'm just gonna do Remind Me of a Song because it almost landed on Remind Me of the Song. So I'm just gonna do that.
Okay,
Take
sure.
us to this day in history.
1778 on this day, a guy named James Cook. Yeah. During the reign of Kalani Opuok, king of the island of Hawaii, British explorer James Cook landed on Waimea on Kauai Island. I know that island name. know why I
Hawaii.
said. Cook was the first European to visit what would become, in 1959, the U.S. state of Hawaii. And James Cook, of course, never left Hawaii. 1801, U.S. President John Adams nominated John Marshall to be the first Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of the United States. Good for him. 1892 in this year, way forward in history, 1892. Several weeks after the chaotic birth of the sport, the first official basketball game with new rules, many of which have been in place ever since, was played in Springfield, Massachusetts. Happy anniversary to the modern sport of basketball. We're totally different than what it used to be. But again, we evolve as a species at some point. Sometimes we do anyway. 1930, Buzz Aldrin was born in Montclair, New Jersey. I know exactly where that is. So happy birthday to Buzz Aldrin, U.S. astronaut who recently lost his mind. 1945, U.S. President Franklin D. Roosevelt was inaugurated for an unprecedented fourth term in office, and he did win that. He did serve about, 2 months of that term, and then he died, and Harry Truman took over. 1971, nationwide strike in Great Britain's postal system began, so piss off the letter carriers, will you? 1973, Amílcar López Cabral was assassinated as he led efforts to secure Guinea-Bissau's independence, which was achieved in September 1974. I want to say it was probably French they were trying to get away from. A name like Guinea, I think the French gave those names. I'm just spitballing out there. I have no idea. In 1981, the Iranian hostage crisis ended when Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini released 52 Americans who had been held for hostage 15 months. Of course, Ronald Reagan worked behind the scenes to make sure those hostages stayed there for the entirety of the rest of Jimmy Carter's administration. Yeah, that's right. Reagan was a piece of shit. Made sure those hostages stayed hostages for extra time so he could be president. Yay, fascist asshole. Way to go, Reagan people. You fell for his garbage, and we'll never recover. Not in my lifetime. Sorry. There was a chance at one time, but no, we keep electing the same idiots who do the same economic policies that make us fail over and over again, and morons never learn it. And again, if you vote for this stuff, it's because you don't understand it. 1982, Black Sabbath frontman Ozzy Osbourne bit the head off a bat. That's worth remembering for some damn reason. 1993, Belgian-born actress Audrey Hepburn died in Switzerland. She was a secret police agent during the occupation of the Nazis in Amsterdam. She created unforgettable film roles as an epitome of sophistication and glamour while paradoxically bewitching audiences, critics with her sprightly mannerisms and elfin charm. She had elfin charm. You can't buy that. Can't buy that at the grocery store, the old elfin charm. Of course, she was, they say epitome of sophistication, but she played Eliza Doolittle. So how, a Cockney flower girl. 2001, amid a corruption scandal that sparked mass protests, Philippine President Joseph Estrada was ousted from office. In 2007, he was convicted of plundering, but later pardoned. Oh yeah, go ahead and plunder. We'll let you off the hook. 2009, on this day, Barack Obama was sworn in as the 44th President of the United States, becoming the first African American to hold office. Congratulations to him. We're going to skip over 2017. We're going to go to 2021 with Kamala Harris on this day, because this is the day we have inauguration. It's in the Constitution. The only time they've ever moved an inauguration, you know what they moved it for? Anybody? Bueller?
No,
Anybody
I don't
back
know.
row? No, why? The Super Bowl. That's right.
Really? Oh,
Super
interesting.
Bowl is more important than democracy. Hell yeah. Kamala Harris was sworn in this day as the first woman vice president of the United States. Congratulations to Kamala. She should have won the last election, but again, Trump cheated. Forget that. Trump did not win this election. There was a lot of ballots thrown out, a lot of crap going on with voting machines. Because the Democrats are little babies, they didn't try to destroy the government. Anyway, so the grown-ups lose again to the little baby who's still in charge, who thinks that China does not have wind power. That guy. Inaugural address delivered another day in history, 1961, that they chose. I mean, there's an inaugural address every day in January 20th, right? And this day, 1961, John F. Kennedy delivered his inaugural address in front of nearly 1 million people. He was the youngest person to have been elected president. His speech garnered praise from across the world. His address was also marked by the famous phrase, "Ask not what you can do, what your country can do to you. Ask what you can do for your country." Back when people gave a crap what this country looked like. I personally don't care what anybody thinks of America anymore. We've destroyed our own reputation by electing a clown, not once but twice, acting like it's normal. And the rest of the world is going, boy, what a bunch of shit. This is exactly what everybody is saying. What a bunch of... But unfortunately, we don't have any real politicians with backbones here that are willing to step up and do something, especially in the Republican Party, which is a bunch of cowards. So, there's on my phone again. Right. Our feature biography, Federico Fellini, Italian filmmaker, born January 20th, 1920. He would be 106 today. He died in 1993 at the age of 73. Born in Rimini, Italy, died in Rome. Fellini made all them weird films. They're really hard to understand, but I guess they're culturally relevant. Let's put it that way. 1906 is Aristotle Onassis' birthday. He married Jackie Kennedy. He was born on Inauguration Day. That's interesting. No, never heard of Onassis until he married Jackie, and he was a Greek shipping magnate, as they call him. 20, way older than JFK, by the way, by about 10 years. 1920 for Blaine's birthday. Buzz Aldrin we did. David Lynch, American filmmaker and screenwriter. You mentioned him yesterday. 1956. Yeah, it was his birthday for David Lynch today. He would be 80 today, but he died last year, or the year before. Bill Maher's birthday, American comedian and talk show host, born in 1956. Guy that acts like he has principal corporables, but he really doesn't. He does anything for $1, and he's a turncoat, two-faced loser who used to be funny, and he must have fired all his good writers. But anyway, there's your birthday and so forth today. National Cheese Lovers Day. It's National Disc Jockey Day. They're going in on jobs. That's a thing anymore, right? It used to be a thing. There used to be discs. You played them on a record player. You dropped the needle on them, and you read your advertising copy while the introduction played, and the song started, and you were a disc jockey, and you were like, "Yeah, I'm so popular." And I didn't graduate high school, but here I am. Anyway, National Buttercrunch Day. Buttercrunch looks really good. It looks like some kind of butterscotch crunchy thing that's going to just stick to my teeth, so I might stay away from that. Those are all your things for today, though. That's your histories, your alliteration headlines, your bad jokes, your bad puns for January 20th, 2026 on before cheese and Buttercrunch. Not at the same time, hopefully. That's going to be a mess in your mouth.
Well, Buttercrunch.
Let's have a thing.
Their thingamajig.
What were you doing?
I mean, I'm honestly the only song I'm reminded of is the one I've been singing all day since you said Dirty Diesel, which is Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap. That's the song that I'm reminded of. Or I should say, Let's Dirty. Right? We were doing dirty deeds, and now we're not doing any dirty deeds because we're cleaning up the planet. Don't give up, guys. Right. People are working hard. It takes a while to undo 50 plus years of just burning.
And vegetable oil burns cleaner, but I just don't know how available it is.
Oh, really? Okay. That's pretty cool.
Hey, yeah, I mean, biodiesel's a thing. I don't think you even have to adjust your car or your diesel much at all for biodiesel. Recycle vegetable oil from
normal diesel to biodiesel. Yeah, you don't have to. I don't think you have to change anything either. Yeah, but you do have to change if you're doing gas and diesel because some people do that by accident, which is sad. I guess mostly just sad.
You can't actually different size things, they won't fit, right?
Yeah.
You can't accidentally put one in the other. It would spill over.
And you'll just ruin your engine if you put diesel in a combustion engine. Not good.
There was a gas station in El Paso a bunch of years ago that somebody filled up their entire gas tank underground tanks with water. So people were pulling into the tank, filling up their tank, getting about half a block in their car stopped. Happening all day long.
God.
A bunch of cars on the side of the road. Yeah. They had that filling, that company that filled up that tank.
Did they find them or something? Or?
That's irresponsible. Yeah, they had a big fine. That's what I just said.
Yeah, okay. I was like, I hope they got in trouble for that. Terrible.
Yeah, it was on the news. So yeah. Pretty much, people don't want their cars to die and never run again. That's kind of a thing.
Makes sense completely.
Gas stations don't want to. Gas stations want to be sued for selling bad gas, so they had to complain. So yeah, definitely.
Whoops.
Got in trouble. This isn't like the Trump administration was around, and where people don't get in trouble. Trump would have pardoned them if there was a way to do it.
All right, well, that is our show today for Good News Tuesday. Sadly, still no UN International Days to celebrate, so you're just going to have to celebrate, what was it again? Butter, peanut, scotch day.
Buttercrunch.
Buttercrunch and cheese.
You don't like cheese.
Buttercrunch and cheese. Put it in like a sandwich, and go learn how to be a disc jockey, a real one, not the one who just puts discs on, right, and then walks away and then comes back and changes the next song. People who are actually mixing music live. This has been Allison here from the Netherlands, Roger from the East Coast of the United States, and we will see you tomorrow for Wacky and Weird Wednesday. We're going to find all that wacky and weird news that's going on to limit the silliness in society, right? Everything's not always serious. Sometimes there's just goofy stuff going on. So make sure you subscribe to the Before Coffee podcast channel on YouTube, so you tell YouTube that you like this show, you enjoy it, and you want to see more of it, and then we can spread the word of our anti-AI news. That was very dramatic. Don't forget to turn on those notifications as well, so you know when you go live and post a video. And of course, you can support us on Patreon. You get some bonus not seen on the edited version of these shows on Patreon. The pre-show and the post-show is what I call them. And let's go to our mic drop moment.
Do it.
Is this the oldest basketball footage?
No, it's not.
Oh, okay.
It is just an example of old basketball courts. Look
how short I could play.
line.
Yeah, I could play that.
Look how long that shot is up. They shoot from the hip. Like,
Yeah.
totally bad form. Look how low the ball is they shoot from way out.
Did he do it like a ballet? He's a ballerina, man. What is he doing?
He tried that shot 1,000 times and never hit, man. And you notice they don't dribble the ball almost at all.
They're also
They
not
dribble
like
once and pass.
the defense is really crap.
Indians retaliate with 2 points. From now on, the game is touch and go, with 10 men helping to get it there. A beautiful
I think they were
That was a good pass.
limited.
With sharpshooting Bob Coble
I think they were the man-to-man defense.
Yeah, seems like it.
But the Brooklyn boys are by no means
Oh, he's intercepted or whatever. Stole the
Look at that
ball.
drill, like terrible ball.
Wow.
to wind it up.
Terrible ball skills, right? Look at it.
Be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and notify buttons. And follow our other channels, Toxic Alley, History of Gravy, and Scratchy Old